The only surefire path to success, to lasting love, to lasting happiness, to meaning is the path of mastery. George Leonard wrote a book called Mastery, and he talked about that we're in a culture that glorifies the result, but not the journey, where adverts will show you the Olympic athlete when they're on the podium getting the gold medal. It will show you the rock star being acclaimed by the crowd. It will show you the film star on the red carpet. But it doesn't show the failures, the humiliation, the embarrassment, the sacrifices that they made for the years or the decades before. So we've got a culture where we're always looking for the shortcut, the hack that will get us the quick path. There's a kind of a cultural myth that about money that I'll get the winning lottery ticket and I'll be set up for life and I'll never have to worry about money again. And there's the same kind of view to relationships that a lot of people look at relationship as like a lottery. If this one, I put all my hopes on this one and hope that it'll work out. And there's probably similar odds. Now, it's it's not that, and I think the culture and society is to blame for this because we've always advertised that relationships should be easy. We've always advertised that when you just meet your one, everything will work out and you'll be happy ever after. But the truth is that relationships are a struggle. Relationships are about a path of making the right decisions, of not taking the shortcuts, of staying on the path to mastery. So I want to talk a little bit more about this concept of mastery. And I want to talk little bit more about this path of mastery. And I want to show you graphically what George Leonard talked about. And he talked about there's three kinds of people that never really get on the path to mastery. And so they never really get results in anything. And the first one is the dabbler. And so the dabbler is always looking for new paths around. The dabbler is someone that they'll love the honeymoon of a relationship, but as soon as it starts to get tough, they'll move on to someone else. And they're always genuinely hoping that this person is going to be the one. This person, I'm going to have lifelong happiness. But because they're basing it on, okay, all their hopes on the one person, they're really just buying another lottery ticket rather than actually developing the skills to make it work with that person. So the obsessive is quite happy to do work. They're quite happy. They're the ones that will read all the books. They'll do all the courses. Okay, well, just tell me what I need to do. What do I need to do? But they're not really on the path to mastery because what they're looking for is, what do I need to say to get this result? What do I need to do to get the result? And so they want the result next week. And so these are the people that are watching the videos telling them this is the text that you need to send. This is that, because that's great for them, because they'll send that text, they'll get the result, and maybe things are on for this week. But what about a month? What about 6 months? What about a year? These are the obsessives of the people that, to try and get the same response in a relationship, they'll book a surprise trip. They'll do something grandiose to get more of a result, and the result being in how the other person feels about them. But what they're doing in doing all these tricks and all these shortcuts to try and get a result is it's ultimately doomed because it's not sustainable. And so ultimately the relationship, the career, the whatever they're on the path to is going to end up back to square one because they've never developed the skills. They've never developed the accurate maps, the knowledge of what to do. So the hacker is slightly different. The hacker is someone that reaches a certain level and they say, I'm happy here. I don't want to do any more. And you can find these in careers that people have done the same job for 20, 30 years and they're very happy. The problem is in relationships. People want more. People want to feel like they're on a path of growth because the same gets boring. If you're the same for 10, 15, 20 years, there's no change. There's no excitement. And so the relationship really dies. And these are the people that have been in a marriage for like 20 years, 25 years, and suddenly the partner says, like, I've had enough, I'm going. And they go, but we were happy. You were happy. And so they go back to square one and have to start again. So none of these three ever get on the path to mastery. So then what is the path to mastery? Well, traditionally, the path of mastery was you became an apprentice. And so an apprentice means that you have to accept that you're a beginner, because the dabbler, the obsessive, and the hacker never want to accept that they're a beginner. They want the results next week. The apprentice has to say, okay, I'm starting from scratch. I'm forgetting all the old ways. I'm just going to learn the fundamentals that lead to mastery. And I'm going to master them. And then I'm going to put off. It's the ability to delay gratification, like the marshmallow. There's a famous marshmallow experiment where they went into children. I think they were like 2 years old, and they give them a marshmallow, and they put it in front of them to tempt them, and they say, if you leave that marshmallow, when I come back, I'll give you 2. And allegedly, they found that the ones who were able to delay gratification were more successful in later life. And it's definitely instant gratification is what sways us off our path. So it takes humility to be an apprentice, and it means finding the fundamental things. Because the obsessive who's looking at relationships will look and they'll go, do this course and this course and this course. This is the secret. It's attachment theory. It's knowing how to manage conflict. It's whatever they're looking at the moment. It's the love languages. This is going to be the key to everything. That's a tiny part of the whole scheme of relationships. Bruce Lee, someone who really took the path of mastery, who started as a beginner, developed mastery in many different martial arts to the point. So when he was a master, he broke through and then developed his own. And he said that I don't fear the man who knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who's done one kick 10,000 times. Because that's what mastery is about. It's not about doing everything. It's about knowing what the critical factors are and doing them. So in martial arts, there's a few key things for each martial art. And the black belt and the white belt are essentially doing the same thing, but it's just so much more refined that the black belt has mastered over and over and over again. And it's the same in relationships. There's a few key things that matter. And there's a lot of other things that may get you results temporarily, but they're not going to lead to long-term success. So the apprentice is starting from beginning and just learning the ropes, and they're on a path of growth. The journeyman is the person who's like a qualified tradesman. So most tradesmen are journeymen, and they are people who have reached the mastery that they can do 90% of the work. And for many people, they're quite happy staying there. And so they can do most jobs. And if they want to progress, then it's about that extra 10% that leads to mastery. So the master is someone that it doesn't matter what the context is. It doesn't matter what the problem is. In their field, they know it backwards, forwards, every way, so that they can deal with the difficult. the difficult jobs that no one else can deal with. So a master is really in the field of relationships. A master is achieve the state of love, where they have love for themselves, they have love for other people, and so their path is about growing and developing that love. And so the mastery, when you look at things like relationships are an infinite game, meaning finite games are games with a beginning and an end. We do it for this. We know when we've won, the game's over. An infinite game, as spoken about by James Carse, an infinite game is the game that we do with no end. And it's for the joy of getting better. And so this is really where martial artists go, that people go in to defend themselves, but why they stay for black belt, second dan, third dan, fourth dan, is the joy of mastery. It's conquering yourself. And so this is really the path of mastery. So if we are to go, if we look back at what sways us, it's really about getting around these three traps: dogma, the dated maps, and the drama. And so the dabbler, when he's confronted with the barrier, he just looks for a way around, and he figures with someone else, okay, we'll go around that way. With someone else, we'll go around that way. Likewise, the obsessive is always looking for the magic key. There must be a secret that will just unlock this door and make it easy. And the hacker has gotten to a certain level and he's just set up camp, and I'm quite happy where I am. So mastery is the only way to surefire success. Are there some people that are lucky? Maybe. There's always some people that they meet someone in a relationship and it just works. There's some people that are just more naturally happy. But it's hard to know, are they someone that has done the work to achieve a certain level of mastery at least? But there's no surefire success, not any lasting success as a hacker and as an obsessive or as a dabbler. And yet I think we know we've all been one of these, at least one of these. I can look at, I've been all of these. And I've delayed taking the path of mastery for many of those diversions. But mastery is the only solution to long-term happiness, to long-term love, long-term success, and long-term meaning in life.